The Hexenzirkel, a secret society of witches that convene in the woods, the skies, or on edges of cliffs. These 8 witches gather for formal tea parties, but also investigate Irminsul trees and the deepest truths in the world of Tevat. But surely, they wouldn't give us lore about this secret coven of powerful witches in a limited time event, right? Well, now that they've revealed this new information, let's take a look at what we know about these powerful witches. Previously heard about the Hexenzirkel from Lisa in her voice line about Mona. While she's the Witch of Purple Rose, she is not a part of this secret society. Apparently, the idea of Irminsul exploration and tea parties leave her cold. It is hard to tell if this is just a matter of preference or her unwillingness to explore the world of Tevat any further. The reason why Lisa left the Sumeru Academia was because she was put off by their obsession with knowledge, so it makes sense. But Lisa mentions all this about the Hexenzirkel when she talks about Mona. And as you know, Mona's teacher, who she loves to refer to as Old Hag, is also a part of this organization. Named B or Babeloth, Mona's teacher is a master hydromancer. She researched astrology in depth and taught Mona the technique of hydromancy. It is the art of inferring fate from the illusory reflection of the stars. The image in the reflection is inverted and is said to be the image of the heavens from within, through which the truth of the world can be observed. Mona believes that this is one of the only success stories of her teacher's research endeavors. Even so, Mona hopes to surpass her teacher's skill, for it is far greater than hers at the moment. Babeloth was also Alice's rival, but the Hexenzirkel did decide to never fight amongst themselves. Wielding the power of hydromancy in her scryglass, I wonder what secrets in Tevat have revealed themselves to her. While some search for these secrets in the world, some have learned so much that the slightest of changes are known to them as soon as they happen. Such is the member N of the Hexenzirkel, also known as Nicole. She is described by Alice as the guide who will never get lost. She has made the direction and order of the world of Tevat her subject of study. She only speaks when a change occurs in the world. Possessing the ability to speak into people's minds, she guides them to the truth like a prophetess. Although this guidance comes with a warning, the traveler wonders if this was the voice that spoke after the wanderer made changes in the Irminsul. The last time she presumably spoke to us, she mentioned that the fate of Tevat cannot be changed easily. Interestingly, Alice says that she chooses to guide people when she senses they might be in an unfortunate situation, which begs the question, could it be that in the past when people have used the Irminsul, it has not happened for good reason? Also, how many times has she seen this happen? Are there indicators when Irminsul rewrites occur that she can pick up on? Or is she somehow able to remember everything that happens in the world? That would require her to be a descender or to find her way around the rules of how Irminsul work. Although there are other ways to save information, like Nahida did. When the wanderer erased his memories, she saved them in the form of a story. Even then, Nahida still has access to the Irminsul, so she can retrieve this information. The Hexenzirkel conducts Irminsul exploration, but have they found a way to access all the information in it? Speaking of hiding information in stories, the next member of the Hexenzirkel is M, also known as Anders' daughter. Described by Alice as the legend that never ends, is the writer of The Boar Princess, among other works. Her stories have been passed down through the generations, but her human lifespan did not last for that long. She hoped that her stories transcended her limited life. Alice mentioned that her prose was what made her understand the emotion of grief. Anders' daughter is confirmed to be the writer of The Boar Princess, but there are other fairy tales in the world of Tevat that may have been written by her. Since Alice said that The Boar Princess was only one of her works, her name, Anders' daughter, seems to be inspired from Hans Christian Andersen, who was a famous writer of fairy tales as well. If Anders' daughter has written other books, The Pale Princess and the 6 Pygmies perhaps, which is Tevat's equivalent of Snow White, she could know a lot more about the world. Not only did the Abyss Order try to steal this book from Lisa, it seems to be so suspiciously important to the lore that they refused to release all the volumes of it. Speaking of mysterious lore, we also got to hear the voice of a very anticipated character, a controversial figure linked to the cataclysm that destroyed the nation of Khaenriah, creator and mother to the dragon Durin and Albedo, Rhinedottir or Gold. The prophecy refers to Rhinedottir as the flower who is not of this world. Alice explains that this is because if there is anyone who can create a species of flowers that does not exist in this world, it is Rhinedottir. Unlike the other members of the Hexenzirkel, we know a lot about Rhinedottir since she has been mentioned several times in the story. Hailing from Khaenriah, Rhinedottir was an ambitious researcher with only one motive. She wished to have the power to create life, and to this end she sought erudition, which did give her what she wanted. She learnt alchemy and also the art of Kaeya, but her skills surpassed the scope of what humans could achieve. The creation of Durin and Albedo required her to obtain the apex achievement of creating life, and she did reach it. She also created drift hounds that are scattered around the world of Teyvat. It is believed that her relentless ambition may have attracted the Abyss to her, for she was the one who unleashed Durin, who was corrupted with abyssal energy into the world of Teyvat. I've always wondered how Rhinedottir was still alive after all the Khaenrians were cursed, and the latest Archon quest answered that question. Clochar Alberic revealed to us that all the pureblood Khaenrians were cursed with immortality. Unlike the Hilichurls, they retained their human bodies, but the curse withered away at them. She raised Albedo after the cataclysm and also taught him the art of Kaeya. She eventually left him after she found the heart of Niberius, assigning him with one task: to find the truth of the world. She has also been friends with Alice for a long time. When she left Albedo, she directed him to look for Alice. Before we look into Alice, let's mention the predecessor of Scarlet who delivered this prophecy. Jay, or Ivanovna, was a part of the Hexenzirkel until she met the love of her life, at which point she decided to get married and quit the secret organization. This prophecy was made for her, so she would communicate with them once more. She passed away several centuries ago, and she was presumably human. Even after she left the Hexenzirkel, she did end up contacting them. That's when she told them about how, when her husband reached old age and his sickness plagued him, she decided to take his fate in her own hands to end his suffering. Among the successors of Ivanovna, Alice only acknowledged Scarlet, and rightly so. After learning about the mages and Jay, she's even more interested in becoming a mage and eventually joining the Hexenzirkel. Moving on to the famous adventurer who wrote the Teyvat travel guide, Alice, who belongs to a long-lived race that ages slower than most. Alice seems to have traveled the entire world of Teyvat and even beyond. It is also unknown whether Alice goes on her adventures out of curiosity or to know more about the world, or for some other reason. She also comments on the borders of Teyvat, saying that they have grown fragile in the last 2 years, and that the reason she had to leave Mondstadt was this. Alice's powers and her prowess in astrology and alchemy are well known. Albedo calls her a near omnipotent sorceress, and Mona believes that if she and Alice were to combine their effort, they would finally be able to uncover the traveler's fate. Unlike Jay, Alice's marriage to her husband did not lead to her leaving the Hexenzirkel. In fact, after they met, they decided to settle in Mondstadt for a while and have Klee. But 3 years prior to the start of the game, they told Klee that they had to visit somewhere dangerous and far away before leaving her to the Knights of Favonius. While Alice has contacted both Klee and the Traveler in some way over the years, they haven't heard from Klee's father yet. It is also highly likely that Alice is a descender. Her knowledge about worlds and concepts beyond Teyvat and her seemingly unchanged attitudes after Irminsul rewrites suggest this, but it cannot be confirmed. All of the witches in the Hexenzirkel seem in some way or the other involved with the fate of the world. In the cutscene in which they were all introduced, as Alice mentioned, the time when they crossed paths with the Anemo Archon, branches came out of the statue of the Seven, silver branches like that of the Irminsul. But they do not go down, they ascend upwards, moving towards a purple sky, which if you ask me, looks very similar to the Spiral Abyss. Even there, the teacups travel on these branches, while the skies are lit by shooting stars. The Hexenzirkel's existence is closely tied to the Irminsul, but does it extend only until that end? Is there some control that they could have over it? Alice, or A, seems to be unaffected by changes in the Irminsul, as she remembers all about the Wanderer in his collected miscellany, and her knowledge about the world outside this one implies her to be a traveler across worlds as well. Nicole, or N, is the voice of guidance. But how much does she know? How does she sense changes in this world? And more importantly, how can she speak to anyone's mind at any moment of time? Is she a god, a sorceress, or a descender? Anda's daughter, or M, may not be in the world now, but her stories seem to have more to them than meets the eye. If someone was aware that there was a way to erase history in this world, and it was her deepest wish for those histories to not be lost to the world tree, Would she not wish for it to outlive her lifetime? And the only way to do this would have to be her stories. What if she has penned more books that contain secrets of this world? Rhinedottir, or R, has been involved with cataclysm and calamity. But at the end of the day, she's still just a mother. With the scale of power she possesses and an ancient artifact that she has uncovered, what could she be planning towards the fate of Teyvat? Was the path to ultimate power worth the sacrifice? And will the witches of Hexenzirkel support her, commend her, or turn against her? That's it for all the Hexenzirkel lore. I do have a few more theories in mind, but for this video, I just wanted to get all of the lore right. Let me know your own thoughts on these powerful witches in the comment section below. Thank you for watching until now. If you want to talk to me about lore, I stream at twitch.tv/Pixieebub, where we discuss lore, theories, characters, among other things. Hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.